Welcome to the depths of the Garry's mod Iceberg. In this video, we'll be exploring only the deepest and darkest secrets of Garry's mod, which are only found at the bottom of the abyss section of the iceberg. From unexpected secrets of the game to strange unresolved mysteries within the community, we'll delve deep into the depths of the Garry's mod Iceberg and reveal the shocking truths that not many have dared to uncover. Brace yourself, because after watching this video, you'll never look at Garry's mod the same again. Exploring old Garry's mod maps can give off a strange feeling, almost as if you feel isolated, but not quite. Something feels off. As you explore the abandoned and forgotten landscapes of old maps in Gmod, most people can't help but feel an eerie sense of detachment and solitude. There's a certain creepiness to it, like you're the last person left in a desolate world, surrounded by the remnants of a once bustling environment. An anonymous user on 4chan described this feeling well. Remember RP Downtown V2? I was on a nostalgia trip through Gmod the other day and downloaded it from the workshop. Through the comments, I learned of the rumor that the creator killed himself at some point and haunts the map. People have talked about seeing shadows in the sewers and seeing ghosts and stuff. Not sure if the claim about the creator is true or how long this rumor has existed, but I first heard of it only a few days ago. I've always felt uncomfortable on this map, with the feeling intensifying in certain buildings for some reason. I've always found source games in general to be quite unnerving, and I never feel alone on an empty map. Users' past experiences on maps, such as RP Downtown V2, were most likely filled with other players in the same server, bustling with activity. However, returning to these same maps years later, they are often greeted with a deafening silence and an eerie emptiness that seems to linger in the air. The once thriving cityscape is now a ghost town, with only the distant hum of ambient noise serving as a reminder of the bustling activity that once was, a sound that can go easily unnoticed when there are many other players on the same server. The once familiar map now feels alien and strange. It's as if you are being watched by some unseen force, with the possibility of encountering another player lurking around every corner. This unsettling feeling is a testament to the power of the Source engine, which can create immersive, emotionally resonant worlds that leave a lasting impression on players. Even years after their initial release, maps like RP Downtown V2 continue to captivate and terrify, reminding players of the everlasting unsettling experience of virtual worlds. Corp01.mdl is a player model that most of the Gmod community is familiar with. The model was initially used in parts of the Half-Life 2 campaign, but has also been used in different role-playing games on Gmod. Chances are you've seen this model on an RP server. It's usually one of the lower-class jobs, such as the hobo role. Most people don't know that Corp01.mdl actually has a dark secret associated with it. While developing the face texture for this model, Valve used a real-life photo of a dead, burnt body. I'm unable to show the real photo on YouTube, but while comparing both faces, the similarities are unparalleled. The origins of this image are relatively unknown, although various users online claim that the photograph is sourced from a medical textbook. Apparently, the victim was killed by the mafia, and his face was badly burnt to make identification more difficult for the authorities. It is unknown why Valve would use something like this as a reference for their models, but it was also revealed that they had similar models while creating Left 4 Dead 2. To generate gunshot wounds on zombie models, they referenced corpses that had similar injuries. So next time you see a distraught zombie model in Left 4 Dead 2, or that hobo in Dark RP yelling and throwing stuff at you, it might make things just a bit creepier, knowing the dark secret behind the models. In 2014, a malicious computer virus rapidly began spreading on Garry's mod servers, infecting innocent players from all around the globe. A hacker found an exploit to take advantage of the Source engine's file sending mechanism and was able to force a script into a user's computer. After a player was infected, the script would force them to spam the word cough to their Steam friends and also through in-game chat. Their character would then cough furiously, and after a short period of time, their game would crash in hopes that the user would join a new server. In a way, the cough virus spread and acted much like a regular virus. Once an infected player joined another server, all of the players on the new server would instantly become infected, along with the server itself. The script would also add exclamation points in front of the names of the affected servers, which would make the server appear near the top of the list on the game browser, so more users would join and fall victim to the virus. Facepunch Studios and Valve were quickly notified of this exploit, and Facepunch patched it within the hour. They later provided some of the code that was used for the exploit and explained what happened in greater detail. Overall, everyone affected by this virus was extremely lucky, especially since it wasn't meant to be malicious. Speculation leads people to think that this event was not an attack on Gmod by hostile users, but instead a demonstration of the vulnerability of the game. If this exploit was used with bad intentions, who knows how many people could have been affected and what kind of information hackers could have stolen. Another computer virus that originated from Garry's mod is called the Gman virus. Supposedly, if you downloaded the wrong add-on or go to an infected server, you could get this virus hidden in your Gmod files. When affected, a stretched version of the Gman will take over your screen, and he makes a loud and long screech. If you attempt to close out of the game or press Alt F4, the Gman will laugh at you and say, "Nope, you are in the pits of hell now, LOL." Luckily, this virus isn't malicious in nature, much like the coughing virus, although it might give you a bit of a scare when you launch Garry's mod. Even though the most notorious viruses from Garry's mod weren't out to steal data, this raises a concern when downloading assets on a new server. It's possible that some Gmod servers or add-ons could have undetected files on them that have actual malicious intent. In 2015, a mysterious user named Craig released a video on YouTube that would blow up in the Garry's mod community at the time. He was exploring the lobby area in Gmod Tower, which was a popular game mode where users could play various minigames. After using some potions that let him shrink his character size, he was able to get out of the map. And he found an empty board, which when walking into it, automatically made him join a new server. This next part is what creeped out the community. Why would this be hidden on a public map? What were the admins of Gmod Tower up to? Were they part of some cult, or were they just working on something else behind the scenes? The developers of the Gmod Tower map quickly fixed this bug, so the hidden area would no longer be accessible to the public. Users were skeptical if this even existed, but previous screenshots and various users' testimonies showed that this board did in fact exist at one point, although no other player had attempted to walk into it to teleport to the strange server. Other theories included that the devs created the board as some horror event for the server, but scrapped it because they didn't want something extravagantly creepy for such a lighthearted game mode. One user found another unlisted video called The Streamer, which was a trailer for an interactive event on Gmod Tower. The event ended up being scrapped, but a lot of work had already been done behind the scenes. In the trailer for the event, some of the same footage from Craig's video can be seen. This led many people to believe that Craig's initial video was either a hoax or an Easter egg to get users hyped up for the interactive event that got scrapped. Although widely accepted as a hoax today, Craig's video served as one of Gmod's most mysterious mysteries of all time. Garry's Mod RP is usually played to have good fun and mess around with friends. While making this video, I went onto a server called War RP, and those people like to have a good time. Although RP is mostly played for shenanigans and good fun, there are some servers out there that are more serious. I joined a server called Half-Life 2 Extreme RP, and what I found was incredibly interesting. The server doesn't allow microphones, so the only way to communicate with the other players is through text chat. After joining the server, I was met by a real player security guard, who gathered information on my new roleplay character. After deciding on my backstory and character specifications, I was allowed to begin playing the actual game. The experience was incredibly immersive. As I walked through the front doors, I wasn't met with various people talking on the microphone, like most Gmod servers. Instead, I was able to take in the atmosphere of this strange world. I stumbled upon a few players that seemed to be in some RP scenario. They were investigating an incident that happened in the sewers, and how there was supposedly a monster on the loose, somewhere down there. As time went on, they would speak to each other in the text chat, even rolling to remove a piece of concrete from one of their fallen comrades. Only using text chat to roleplay made the scenario much more immersive, even to me as an outside observer. Another server I ventured onto was called Oceana Sirius RP. Set in the world from George Orwell's book, 1984, this server is quite interesting. There's much more to it, but essentially, the roleplay is set in a dystopian world run by the government called the Ministry of Truth. Like the Half-Life 2 RP server, this server was also text-based. Walking down the empty streets was chilling, but it also felt as if I was being watched. My first encounter was with a police officer who scolded me for walking in the street instead of the sidewalk. As I explored the barren city, much of the world was unpopulated. I rarely encountered individuals, and when I did, the conversations were strange. I'm not sure if it was because of the text chat, or maybe it's because I'm unfamiliar with the book 1984. But that being said, everyone I met was helpful and incredibly nice, except for one police officer. But I was kind of at fault for that. It's interesting to see how these players are able to immerse themselves in a completely different world, where they can assume a new identity, explore new places, and escape their real-life problems. Both of these servers in particular had a certain atmosphere to them, almost as if there was some sort of cult behind the scenes. Although it is unlikely there are cults on these servers, it opens up the rabbit hole of what could be out there on Gmod. It's worth noting that many of the Sirius RP servers out there cater to niche interests, such as Half-Life 2, or in this particular instance, the book 1984. It's fascinating how Garry's mod enables individuals with shared passions to immerse themselves in these unique virtual realms, alongside fellow enthusiasts. In some cases, it can be extremely harmless, much like what I experienced in these Sirius RP servers. But in other cases, it can lead to hate in controversial communities. Believe it or not, there are some RP servers on Garry's mod that can be extremely offensive to the vast majority of people. One in particular is called 1942 RP, and it's actually a relatively popular game mode on Gmod, sometimes having upwards of 100 plus people playing at a time. Set in World War II era Berlin, the point of this game mode is to roleplay as one of the Nazis, a German citizen, or maybe one of the resistance members. Although it appears that most people who play regularly on this server end up choosing to roleplay as one of the Nazis. Some play as Nazi leaders while others play as foot soldiers until they work their way up the ladder to become a commander. Needless to say, some people that play on these servers are incredibly racist and have deep fantasies of becoming real-life Nazis. The server's description markets it as a historical roleplay, and some people probably do go on the server because of their historical interests in the time period. Although it's safe to say that this type of server, for the most part, attracts a very specific type of person. I was only on the server for a few minutes before I was met with one of my first interesting encounters.
I got like 100.
And that's only the beginning. The server is riddled with real anti-Semitism and people that truly believe in Nazi ideology. Unfortunately, 1942 RP is only scratching the surface of it. There are many other controversial servers out there alongside it. At one point, there was an Auschwitz RP and even a slave RP, but those have since then been shut down. Ultimately, some of these controversial RP servers cultivate groups of people that have ideologies that are seen as extreme to the rest of the world. They're able to live out these fantasies away from the public eye, hiding behind their avatars deep within the Garry's Mod server browsers. It's a bit scary how some of these communities don't only survive, but thrive, always sustaining a large number of players every day. I wonder what other obscure servers exist out there, waiting for new, unsuspecting users to join. Well, that's the deepest and darkest parts of the Garry's Mod Iceberg. Feel free to let me know in the comments if I missed anything important. I hope you enjoyed the video.